ChatGPT just released a bunch of brand new upgrades that completely change everything. You can now give ChatGPT access to your complete computer history, everything you've done on it, so it has context to it. In addition to that, ChatGPT now has a new integration with Google Drive where it can edit, update, or create any type of document, any type of sheet, and anything like that, and so many other changes. So let's dive into all of them. Now, the first change that we need to talk about is going to be computer history, because this literally changes everything about ChatGPT. The way that you want to use this is you want to open up the ChatGPT desktop app, and then you want to come over here to the left-hand side, click on settings. From inside of here, you could see that the settings look completely different, but the first thing you want to make sure that you do is you want to have ChatGPT have full access to your computers so that it can edit any file and run any commands with network without your approval. Now, of course, you could turn this off if you wanted it to actually have approval. In addition to that, you want to make sure that auto review is turned on and default permissions is turned on. Then on the left-hand side right here, you're going to see integrations. If we click into this, we can see we can now let ChatGPT follow our work. So ChatGPT is going to be able to summarize our activity across all of our apps, all of our websites without ever recording our screen or our audio. We'll be able to ask it about help for things that we're working on, get it to explain things, or get it to discover opportunity with automated tasks. For example, what was I working on before lunch? It can now answer you. Or you could get it to say, hey, what else should I have been doing based on the things that I was doing, or whatever the case is. So in order to actually turn this on, we need to click on turn on right here, and we can see that you can pause or clear your history and manage which apps are included at any time if you want specific things excluded. For example, your Bank of America. Consider pausing or excluding sensitive apps such as health or finance from your history. So it explicitly says that. And then we're also agreeing that we will pause computer history during communications with others, such as video conference or text messaging apps, unless we have their consent. Now, if we come over here, we could click on allow all apps right here. We could click on allow. This is now going to actually bring up our computer settings. I'm on a Mac, so basically what I need to do is come over here, drag this right here, and then I'm going to type in my password. And now we can see that this is actually going to be set up, and we'll be able to view our computer history at any time. So again, ChatGPT records text summaries of our computer activity. We can control what ChatGPT can reference by deleting individual records or clearing our history. It's basically going to work the same exact way as memory. So if we come over here, we could see that we could pause this right here. We could turn this off. If we do click on pause, then we just come back in here and resume it when we're ready. If we do want to actually exclude specific apps, we could click on choose right here. You could add in exactly what apps you want to actually exclude. This is now searching through the apps on my computer, and I could exclude, for example, Tela or CapCut or whatever the case is. In addition to that, we could add in websites right here. So bankofamerica.com, I could click on save, and then this won't actually work when I'm on this specific website. Now, I would strongly suggest that if you are worried about specific apps or specific websites, make sure that you're not including them. In addition to that, if you want to make this even more powerful, you also want to turn on app shots right here, which allows ChatGPT to actually take app shots in order to get visual and text content, including text scrolled off screen, which is pretty cool. Basically, you give it this hotkey right here, and then this will automatically actually take information that you are doing on your computer or whatever you're struggling with and automatically upload it into ChatGPT so that ChatGPT can actually help you with that. If we come over into browser right here, you also want to make sure that you have this turned on, because what this is going to allow ChatGPT to do is actually use a built-in browser, and you could actually manage your passwords, your contact information, the browsing history right here, which is pretty cool. In addition to that, under computer use right here, we could turn on to allow ChatGPT to be able to access our apps on our computer. We could allow ChatGPT to access the Google Chrome extension, Excel, and we could let ChatGPT use our Mac when it's locked. So we could actually command it from our phone. It will be able to use our local computer, even though we are not in front of it. And all of these new integrations right here are a massive, massive, massive upgrade. But that was just the first upgrade, because now we can also actually control our Google Drive from ChatGPT. We could get it to create documents, we could get it to edit documents, we could get it to edit sheets, and anything like that. For example, we could see right here that I said at Google Drive in library launch, draft release notes in a Google Doc. And then what this actually did was created that, gave us a Google Doc right here, and we could see that we could actually open up this Google Doc from inside of ChatGPT. So now you don't have to have two tabs open. We can open, we can manipulate, we can create, we can edit with all different types of things. We could do it with Sheet, we could do it with documents, we could do it with anything that's going to be inside of our drive. And again, this is a big upgrade. In order to actually do this, you're going to want to be using ChatGPT Work. You want to do at Google Drive, and then we'll be able to see all the commands it can actually do. For example, we could see right here that we could actually get this to work across our docs, our sheets, our slides, and we could choose specific files right here, which again is just a huge upgrade that ChatGPT is now able to do this. And this is something I wish it was able to do from the start, but I'm glad that we have it now. And in order to actually get this set up, all you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come over to plugins right here. You're going to want to type in Drive. You're going to want to install the Google Drive plugin. And the other thing I would also do is actually do it for each of these different things like sheets, documents, and all of that in order to make sure that you have complete and full access. The other thing that's incredibly cool is you could also use this inside of schedules if you wanted to automate things. You would just come over into ChatGPT Work, you would say, let's set up a scheduled task together, and then you would explain exactly what you want and have it interview you to figure out exactly when you should schedule it and when you should run it. You simply just explain to it in plain English what you want to do, and it will have it scheduled out. This thing you need to make sure that you stop doing on ChatGPT is using basic prompts, because ChatGPT doesn't like those anymore. For example, let's say we're in ChatGPT Work and we wanted this to create a blog post about AI agents. What we don't want to do is type in something like this, create a blog post about AI agents, because yes, this will create us a blog post. It'll probably write it pretty good. It'll even do research good, but this isn't going to be an actual prompt that is going to yield the results that you want. We could see that this did this very quickly, but literally all this is doing right here is writing the blog post. It's actually way more that goes into this, but we wouldn't know that because we gave it a bad prompt right here. Instead, what I would strongly suggest that you do is use the My Prompt Buddy prompt optimizer right here. This allows you to choose what kind of prompt you actually want to use. In addition to that, you could actually create shortcuts. So if there are prompts that you use all the time, you could create that here so that you could easily be able to access it, paste it in ChatGPT, and then get back to your work. But if we actually come over here, we could see our current prompt, and our ideal output is a 1,000 word, well-researched blog post that includes a header image and images throughout the blog post. And then we could actually click on optimize prompt right here. And what this is actually going to do is give us a way better prompt. Now, if we open up a new window right here, remember, this is what we got initially. If we open up that new window and we use this new optimize prompt right here, what we're going to get is going to be way better, because we can see that this goes through the situation, this goes through the task, this goes through the objective, this goes through the knowledge, and we could even improve it further if we wanted to, but I think that this is perfect. And now this is going to go through, actually create a way better result. Now we can see that this has given us a totally different output. We still have our blog post right here, but this also went through and actually created all of the different image prompts for what are going to show here. And we could see we've got all the text. And if we actually look at the outputs right here, we could see that this also created all of these different images that we'll be able to actually add in here, which is pretty incredible. We've got these different images that are going to get added directly into the blog post. So basically we got a way better response. Why? Because we used a way better prompt. And this is exactly why I use the My Prompt Buddy Chrome extension every single time that I go to create any type of prompt. And the best part about My Prompt Buddy is that if you go to the pinned comment below, you can get started with it today for free. They have a 7-day free trial, and this tool is an absolute no-brainer because it's going to help you get way more out of ChatGPT, Gemini, or Claude, no matter which one you're using. Change number 2 is now from inside of ChatGPT, you could actually use Open Table, which is pretty cool. For example, we could come over here and we could say something like, I have 2 friends coming into Bozeman next week. Can you please find reservations at a great Italian or sushi restaurant? It will be 4 of us. And then what this will actually do is this is going to go through, this is actually going to search for the best Italian restaurants, the best sushi restaurants, and it is going to find whether or not they actually have reservations. And basically the way that this works is ChatGPT now has an Open Table and a Resi plugin and integration that's automatically going to get called, and it's going to display the reservations, and we will literally be able to make one directly from inside of here. It's a really great visual and it's pretty cool. So we could see the top pick is Blackbird. I 100% agree with that. If you've ever been to Bozeman, Montana, if you're ever going to Bozeman, Montana, it's absolutely incredible. So we could see right here, this goes through exactly what this is, shows us all the different reservations that they have. Tutte Bene, another absolutely incredible restaurant. Fresco Caf, haven't been there yet. 7 Sushi, well, probably wouldn't eat any sushi in Montana, but you guys get the point. This actually goes through, this is how it ranks them. And I gotta be honest, as somebody that lives in Bozeman, Montana right now, this is 100% accurate. In addition to that, ChatGPT can now also build you quizzes inline. For example, we could come over here and we could say, I want to become an expert on how AI agents work in 2026. Can you please create me a quiz to help me study/get better? And then what this will actually do is make us a quiz in line here. And look at how quickly this does this. This now goes through, here's round one, and it goes through what most fundamentally distinguishes an AI agent from a one-shot LLM response. We can see right here, it uses a larger LLM, must contain multiple cooperating models. It can iteratively choose tasks, observe results, continue towards a goal, permanently remembers every conversation. I'm going to go with B right here. We could see that it's correct. It tells me why it's correct. We're going to go to the next one right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer this the wrong way. So I'm going to click on an observation. Actually, that was the right one. I just chose a random one. Okay. We can see right here, A, if I do choose the wrong answer, this actually tells me what the right answer was and goes through and does this. And we could say something like, this seemed a little easy. Let me make this harder. And then this will actually go through and this will say, yep, let's jump straight to advanced, and this will actually make a new one right here. In addition to that, if we actually click on this right here, this goes through and actually gives us a hint right here, which is pretty cool. And again, this literally just made this in seconds, which is absolutely crazy. And what you could also do is you could upload docs, you could upload spreadsheets, you could upload slideshows. So if you have study guides or if you have notes or if you have anything like that, you could actually get this to create quizzes and create advanced quizzes and advanced modules and keep getting harder and harder for anything. We could also come over here and say, great, now I want to study for the math section on the SAT, and then this will actually go through, this will update this, and look at how quickly this goes through and actually does this. So this is actually going to give us a diagnostic right here, which is then going to judge and assess our level, what we're struggling with, and this will actually go through and change it based on that. Now, the final thing that I did want to show you is if we come over to new chat right here, what I wanted to show you is how you can actually give ChatGPT access to a bunch of different things. So if we are inside of the desktop app right here, we click on new chat right here, we're going to notice a few things with ChatGPT. So if we are inside of a chat, if we click on this plus, we could actually change what it's going to be working with. We could see all the different plugins right here, everything that we actually have access to, and then we can now use all of those. In addition to that, if we come over to work right here, we could click on this and we could see that we could work with ChatGPT in 3 different ways. One, we could have it ask for approval. So every time it goes to edit something on my computer or use the internet, it'll ask for approval. This kind of slows things down, defeats the purpose of using ChatGPT work. What I would allow is I would allow approve for me. So it will only ask on actions detected as potentially unsafe. Or if you want to give this thing full reign to your computer, your apps, everything, what you could do is use full access. I personally use full access most of the time. In addition to that, if we click on this little computer icon right here, this is actually new, we could see where this chat can run. One, we could have it run on our computer where it will be able to read and edit local files. Or two, we could have it actually work in the cloud where it won't be able to access local files. So again, this is kind of a way for you to be able to change which one you want to use. In addition to that, if you're doing something inside of the cloud, you could also do it from your mobile device because that's how the cloud is actually going to work. Or like I shared with you earlier, you could turn on the settings to actually have ChatGPT be able to access your computer, even if it's locked, in which case you'll be able to prompt it from a mobile device and it will still be able to access your computer, even though it's not turned on, which is crazy. Now, if you enjoyed this video and you want to learn about a brand new AI trading assistant that works for Claude, but you could also set this up with ChatGPT, I would strongly suggest you check out this video right here that walks you through exactly how to get set up with it and all of its use cases. I'll see you over there.